Jen from Dream Prague. Today I want to talk about how to be environmentally friendly in Prague. The city of Prague is on the whole very clean, and the street sweepers come through early every morning, and I think that's because tourism is such a big industry and they want people to wake up to fresh, clean sidewalks and streets every day. But if you've ever gone out for an early morning jog, even through Old Town Square, and you beat the street sweepers, you can see something like this, and it's mainly from the waste that the tourists leave. So the Czechs produce, on average, half of what a typical American produces of unrecycled waste. So in this video, I'll show you how the Czechs reduce, reuse, and recycle, and even give you some tips on how to improve upon their good example while you live in Prague. So the best way to keep your trash to a minimum is to not buy as much stuff. And one of the easiest ways to do that is to not buy bottled water. Many Europeans and many Czechs spend a ton of money on big bottles of bottled water. If you're at a restaurant, you can simply ask for voda z vodovodu, and that means water from the water supply or water from the tap. And it's perfectly clean, healthy water. You don't need to pay sometimes more than beer for a bottle of water. And right now, Czechs are only recycling 60% of the plastic that they consume. So I think the easiest way to stop consuming so much plastic is to stop with the bottled water altogether. Now, I personally am addicted to bubbly water, and so we bought a SodaStream, and I just have to replace the canisters once a month. And you can do that for 200 crowns, which is about $8 US, and you can do that at any Dat Art and a lot of the little electronic shops around town. And it ended up paying for itself, and I don't have to lug giant liter bottles of water up and down my stairs all the time. Buying produce at the farmer's market is a great way to get away from all of the plastic wrapping that you see at the supermarket. And the farmers markets run for, I would say, on average around 9 months a year, and I'm gonna put in the link below a list of the farmers markets and the dates that they're open. And if you're a tourist and just here for a short trip, definitely check out a Prague farmers market, because it's a lot more than just produce. It's almost like a foodie scene with food trucks and beer tasting and wine, and it's a really fun thing to do on the weekends. I also like to shop at stores like Bez obalu, which means without packaging. And you can go there and stock up on lots of dry goods. You just bring your own sack or jar, and you can fill up on dry goods such as nuts and beans and pasta and flour. And you don't waste all of that extra packaging that just comes with everything we buy. They also have a lot of goods that you don't see in normal supermarkets, so definitely check out Bez obalu, and I'll put a link to their shop in the link below. Now, Czechs always remember to bring their own bags when they go grocery shopping, because if they don't, they have to pay about 20 crowns for a new plastic bag. And Czechs are total cheapskates. They're not wasting money on plastic bags. You can buy the nylon or the net ones at IKEA or at Tesco, or if you happen to have a plastic bag, I like to just tie it up in a ball or in a triangle and throw it in each of my purses so that I always have a bag and I don't have to buy a new one next time I go out. In May of 2019, the city of Prague actually passed a law that vendors at concerts in the city of Prague can no longer give single-use plastic. So no single-use plastic cups, forks, knives, etc. When you go to a beer festival or a concert, you'll get a cup, either like a good quality, thicker plastic one that you can use many times, or a glass one, and you pay 50 crown deposit. You can either keep it or you just use it until the end of the day and then you return it for the deposit. It's great. I really hope that the Christmas markets are gonna adopt this, because right now they serve svaržák, which is the spiced hot wine that Czechs drink at Christmas time. They serve it in these like little styrofoam cups, and it's just awful, and you see them piling up in trash cans. So what I did is I bought this at Hudi. It's a store in Prague 1 that sells like camping supplies, and this one's kind of nice. It just kind of like compresses so I can keep it in my bag like that. And it's good, and I plan to use that this year for Svařák. Prague has plenty of secondhand clothing stores. Those are really popular and you see them all over the city. If you have extra clothes that you want to donate, you can find these red bins, and I'll put a link to their locations in the link below. And they're all over the city, and you can just put bags of clothing in there. Be sure to wash it and don't put stuff with holes and things like that. And if you have even sort of higher end things that you think someone would want to buy, you can take them to a Prague thrift store, and if they want your items, they'll even give you store credit in return. Recycling in Prague is super easy, but it might be a little bit different than how you do it in your home country. So there are bins all over the city, and some of them are sort of like freestanding bins. You'll see these clusters of different colors, or some of them have like permanent installations and the bins are actually in the street. So you're gonna wanna do your pre-sorting before you go, like at home. So we went to IKEA and got I think this was like a baby's diaper canvas bag, and we just use it for paper and plastic, and then we have our cans and our bottles and our Tetra Pak, which are like the drink containers. And then you can also return your Nespresso capsules. If you have an espresso machine, you can take those back to the espresso store and recycle them there. So when you go out on the street, you're gonna see these bins. Sklo is glass, and it comes in colored or white. Papier is paper. Plasti is plastic. Napojové kartony, that's like your Tetra Paks, your drinking containers. Occasionally you'll see aluminum, that's becoming more popular, and also sometimes you'll see bigger red bins, say electro, and that is for electrical items, batteries, wires, and those kind of things. You can also recycle batteries and light bulbs at hardware stores, some of the big ones, Hornbach on the outskirts of the city, and also small ones inside the city like Proton. And I'll put a link to all of the bins around the city in the link below so you can check that out. If you buy bottles of beer at the grocery store or at your local Potravini, your corner markets, you can actually return those bottles and get 3 crowns a bottle, and then they send them to a factory where they just simply wash them, take the labels off, put new labels on, and put the beer right in them. And that way it saves all of the energy that's involved with actually recycling the glass. They're just reusing the glass bottles, and you get a little bit of money back. I hope that if you're a new expat or a tourist in Prague, you can appreciate the beautiful streets here and leave Prague just as beautiful as you found it. And at Dream Prague, I like to make videos for expats who have just moved here that are trying to figure things out. So if you have a question about something in Prague you're trying to figure out, or how to do something, let me know. I bet many other people have the same question, and I'll make a video for you. So put your questions in the comments, and I look forward to hearing from you. Tak ciao, ahoj, see you next week.